morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. We're looking at the MACDs, the moving averages and the day's support, resistance and pivot levels. It is Monday the 15th of February. Jumping straight into Bitcoin against US dollar, look at the hourly candlesticks, bullish start to the day here. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid the pivot at 48,424. to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 49,819. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break out from yesterday's new swing high, 49,659. So barring an extended crypto rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 50,000 to pin Bitcoin back. In the event of a breakout, should see Bitcoin break through the second major resistance level at 51,053 to bring 55,000 levels into play before any pullback. Fall through the pivot level would bring the first major support level at 47,190 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay clear of sub 47s. Second major support level sits at 45,795. Looking at the MACD, got a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day, suggestive of some further downside. On the EMA, 50 is holding its ground against the 100 and the 200, however, so nothing conclusive there. So key through the early part of the day, avoid a fall through the pivot at 48,424 and break out from yesterday's new swing high, 49,659, to then bring 50,000 levels into play. Failure to do that and support levels will be in play. Moving across to Ethereum against the US dollar, relatively positive start to the day. Going to need to see Ethereum break through the pivot at 1814. to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 1843. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 1840 levels, however. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1852.47 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ethereum test resistance at 1900 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1881. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1775 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should still well clear of sub-17s. Second major support level at 1746 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, we had a widening of the bearish histograms at the turn of the day after yesterday's late bearish cross, suggestive of some downside ahead. On the EMA, the 50 has narrowed marginally on the 100 and the 200, also a slightly bearish signal. So failure to move through the pivot at 1814 would bring support levels into play. A breakthrough to 1840 and you should see 1900 levels come into play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, relatively positive start to the day. Going to need to see Litecoin move through the pivot 217.77 to take a run at the first major resistance level, sitting at 226.97. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Litecoin to break out from 225 levels. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's new swing high, 230.81 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, it should see Litecoin test the second major resistance level at 240.01 before any pullback. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 204.73 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should stay clear of sub 200. Second major support level sits at 195.53. Looking at the MACD, a slight narrowing of the bearish histogram, but nothing suggestive of a bullish day ahead, so keep an eye on that. On the EMA, 50 has narrowed marginally on the 100 and the 200, giving a slightly bearish signal as well. So key through the early part of the day would be to move through that pivot at 217.77 and back through to 224 levels to then target the resistance levels. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Finally, looking at Ripple's XRP against the US dollar, bullish start to the day here. Going to see Ripple's XRP avoid a fallback through the pivot at 0.5983 to take a run at the first major resistance level, setting at 0.6346. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.63 levels. Barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high to cap any upside on the day. That was at 0.64031. In the event of an extended rally, should see Ripple's XRP test the second major resistance level at 0.6765 before any pullback. Failure to avoid a fallback through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 0.5564 into play and the 23.6% fib at 0.5320. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple XRP should still well clear of the second major support level at 0.5202. Looking at the MACD, we had a late bullish cross yesterday and a slight widening of the bullish histogram this morning, supporting the early upside. On the EMA, however, nothing conclusive of the 50 against the 100 and the 200 to suggest a bullish morning ahead. So key through the early part of the day would be to avoid fallback through the pivot, 0.5983, and break back through to 0.63 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failure to do that, and support levels are in play.